In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use some coil methods to make this adorable lizard. So to start out, you want to make sure that you have a board, that you have a cup filled halfway with water, which you can share with a friend, a fork, and a skewer, pointy side. Now, I will give you 2 pieces of clay, a bigger piece and a smaller piece. So what you're going to start out by doing is just sort of shaping the piece of clay into sort of a long kind of like pickle shape. Please don't take the clay and like fold it over and squish it and everything like that, because if you do that, first of all, you're going to dry it out, but you're also going to create air pockets. So you could see when I dig my fingers in and I fold it over, I'm creating air pockets. And the reason why I don't want to do that is because when air gets trapped in there, it can, when I put it in the kiln to bake it, it can actually cause it to break. So we don't want to do that. So just make sure you take it the way it is and just sort of, you can like pat it into that shape. You can like gently squeeze it, but it's different than like Play-Doh or modeling clay where you can like smush it all over the place. And kind of have fun with it. Once you get it into like a pickle shape, you're gonna start rolling. Now, we are going to be making his head, body, and tail out of this single coil. So you want one end to be thicker and one end to be skinnier. So I'm gonna start out by making the front of it a little bit thicker, and then I'm going to roll more and more and more on this side, and the more I roll, the skinnier it will get. So you can already see it starting to get skinnier. And you can put your hand on top here just to sort of gently guide it so it doesn't flop all over, but just make sure you're not pushing down. Now, I will have on the table in the clay center this little body check size thing, okay? If you want to just check the size and make sure you didn't make your tail too skinny or something, you know, you can check it. It doesn't have to be exactly like it. As you can see, even mine is a little bit longer, but just so you can kind of get a general idea, you're welcome to get out of your seat and go check that. Now we're going to start to shape the head. So I'm just gonna pinch the end here a little bit, and then I'm gonna, about an inch or an inch and a half in, I'm just gonna gently press in a little bit here so that it sort of tapers in for his neck, okay? Then I can kind of shape the tail any way that I would like, and I'm gonna do that a little more at the end. Now I'm gonna flip him over to his belly, and I'm gonna roll another coil. So I'm gonna take that whole small piece. Oh wait, first I'm gonna pinch a tiny bit off for his eyes for later. There we go. I'm going to take that whole piece and I'm going to roll a coil. And I want this coil to be about as thick as my finger. Then I want to gently fold it in half and cut on that middle, and now I know that I'm going to have 2 even length legs. Now I'm going to attach them. So whenever we attach 2 things together when we're working with clay, we always have to do something called slipping and scoring. Slip is this sort of muddy clay like mixture that winds up being working almost like a glue, and you can create that by just dipping water and kind of getting it on there. Sometimes artists also take ground up dried clay and they mix it with water and make sort of a paste, but to make it easier, we're just going to use water. Then you're going to take the fork and you're going to scratch the part of the body where you want to attach the legs. Then you're going to also scratch or score the part of the body, or the part of the legs that's going to attach to the belly. So when you have those two rough sides, it helps them to stick together. If you don't do this, I promise you, when your piece dries, it will fall off, okay? So we always want to slip, score, then stick it together, and then we're going to smooth it. So you can just take your finger and just drag a little bit of that clay down on there, okay? You don't want to have too much water on your finger when you do this because you want to kind of drag some of that clay. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the back legs. Get some water, give it a nice press. Okay, now you don't want to press down so hard that they wind up falling, breaking in half. Just do it gently because you don't want that coil to snap in half. So now I have him laying upside down on his back, looking kind of sad. I'm gonna gently pick him up, turn him back over. Now, if I have any scoring on my legs where I don't want them, I can just dip my finger in water and smooth it, which is what I can do with any little cracks. It's actually really fun to do too. And then I am going to take my skewer, pointy part, and very gently, I'm just going to put 2 little cuts in each foot to create little toes. Now, we want to keep these sort of close together because if we fan them out too much, they can snap off. Okay, so you don't want to like pinch them and make them skinnier. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add my eyes. So I'm going to take that little piece of clay that I had, snap it, pinch it in half, and now I'm going to roll 2 tiny little ball shapes. And when I attach these, I have to slip and score. But because they're so tiny, I'm going to use my skewer to score instead of my fork because it's such a tiny piece that I'm doing. I'm gonna press those on. Now when you put these on, you can kind of almost twist it like a little doorknob just to make sure they're really on there. Then you can dip your finger in water and gently smooth it. Please don't add too much water because if the clay gets muddy, that can also make it sort of fall apart. You can also take the back side of the skewer and add a little dot in the middle. You don't have to do that. And here we have our little lizard already. If you want to gently bend his legs into a different position, you can, but just make sure that he's kind of laying down like this, and then you're going to give it to me and I will put your name and class code on the bottom, and after it's dried and fired, we can paint them.